What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today I am partnering up with Cirque Colors to show you their two newest collections. So we have their Destiny collection and we have their Apothescary collection. Now before we get into it, if you haven't heard of Cirque Colors before, they are an independent nail polish brand that is based in the US and all of their polishes are non-toxic. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal derived ingredients, and they're cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So we've got their Destiny collection, which is a tarot inspired collection of 6 new nail polishes in their shimmergraphic formula. And then we also have their brand new release, which is the Apothescary collection, and that is 4 new flash reactive polishes for Halloween. So yeah, let me just dive into these swatches and then we can go over my thoughts on them, pricing, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today I'm using the Cirque Ridge Filling Base Coat. So I'm going to start off with the Destiny collection. That is the 6 shimmergraphic polishes and they actually came out last week. This first shade is called Seer and it's this beautiful, slightly dusty purple jelly base that is totally packed with this iridescent shimmer that shifts from gold into green and at extreme angles even a little bit of like this reddish coppery sort of color. And then of course we have that really intense holographic sparkle running throughout. You can especially see it in the cuticle area where it's slightly out of focus, but the hollow sparkle in there is just slightly bigger, so it's super eye-catching and gorgeous. It gave me perfect coverage in 2 coats. And then we have the shade Lady Luck. This one was really interesting. I was curious to see how it was going to translate on the nail because we actually have this sheer black jelly base and then within it we have an iridescent blue shimmer. So at some angles it looks like an intense cobalt blue. At some angles you can see a lot of a more purpley color coming through, and it definitely started out a little bit sheer on the nail, but I was able to build up coverage in 3 coats and it looked absolutely stunning on. Again, super packed with that holographic pigment as well. This truly looks like a galaxy manicure to me, and it really didn't feel thick at all in 3 coats, but if you do want to preserve the polish, I feel like doing 1 coat over black would also be absolutely stunning, but you wouldn't get as much of that jelly effect. Next up we have the shade Good Fortune, and this one might be my favorite of this collection because these colors and this combination just truly speaks to my soul. So we have this deep navy blue base color, and then within it we've got an iridescent shifting shimmer that actually shifts from red into green, but then again at certain angles you can see other colors. There's a little bit of orange, a little bit of gold, and it is just so stunning. Again, with those holographic sparkles in there, it feels like a very cosmic manicure, but I just love all of the intense shiftiness of it. Pairing that blue with red and green as the shimmer is just so unique, so I really loved that. Next up we have the shade Threads of Fate, which is described as a magenta base color, and then within that we've got another really contrasty shimmer. So this one actually shifts from gold to green to blue, and then we also have the holographic sparkle in there. So I started off with 2 coats and I loved it. I thought this was absolutely gorgeous. I love that super high contrast between the shimmer and the base color, but just out of curiosity I did want to apply a 3rd coat, and I do think that it deepened the color a little bit, but I feel like I could also get away with wearing it in 2 coats since it wasn't patchy at all. So I think it really just depends on how deep I want the color to be. If I'm looking for something a little bit lighter and brighter, I can do 2 coats, but if I want it to be darker and more intense, I can do 3. And then we have the shade Tarot, which actually feels kind of similar to Threads of Fate, but once you see the actual color, especially as I'm applying it, it definitely feels like a very different sort of shade. It still feels like it has that sort of pinky tone to it, but the base is more of a rosy brown beige kind of color, and then we have this really intense iridescent shimmer that shifts between fuchsia into red and into orange, and then we get all of that multicolored holographic sparkle in there. So it's a little bit more subtle with a little bit less of that contrasty shift, which I think is really perfect because I know not everybody wants to wear like a really intense green shimmer in their pink nail polish. So I actually really appreciate that they gave us both options here. And then the final shade in this first collection is Serendipity, and this one is a sheer white base, and then we also have an iridescent shifting shimmer in here that shifts between pink into gold into green, along with that super intense holographic sparkle. And and I always love polishes like this. I feel like I will always say with a polish that has this sort of sheer whiteness to it, especially with a little bit of sparkle, I always call them wedding polishes. I always say they're perfect for a wedding, but then as soon as this time of year hits and I see a polish like this in a collection, I'm immediately like, oh my gosh, it reminds me of ghosts. So it's really perfect for whichever side of the spectrum you're going for here. If you want to do something romantic and elegant, or if you want to be a little ghostly, I feel like it's kind of perfect for both. And now moving on to the Apothescary collection. This is the 4 polishes that have the flash reactive pigment running throughout. This first shade, Hemlock, is a beautiful, cool toned green base, and then we have a silver flash reactive pigment running throughout, as well as what looks like an almost purpley shimmer running throughout. So again, super gorgeous contrast. This is another thing I say a lot, but purple and green just feel like the Halloween colors to me, so I thought that this was perfect. Here it is with my camera and flash. I don't think that my flash does it justice, but these are intensely sparkly polishes. Next up, we have the shade Nightshade, and this is another black jelly base. This time we are in the flash reactive pigment, so we've got the silver flash reactive glitters running throughout, as well as another iridescent shimmer that runs from blue to purple just based on the angle you're looking at it. And this was another one that ended up being a 3-coater for me just to get the full intensity of that color and the full depth of that black base. But again, it just had that unreal sparkle going on in there. It also feels very cosmic to me, a gorgeous night sky kind of vibe, but with the added fun of having that flash reactive glitter. And I did notice that once I had it under the flashlight, I could see almost this teal aqua kind of blue coming through, so I thought that was really fun as well. And then we have the shade Belladonna, and I think this one was my favorite of the Apothescary collection. 1, because I just love purples in general, but 2, because this one was absolutely breathtaking. We have this beautiful, very deep purple base coat, and then we've got the silver flash reactive pigment, as well as a really intense iridescent gold to green shimmer running throughout. So really just depending on the angle I moved my nail around, I could see so many colors and even little flashes of blue at certain angles, which I thought was absolutely stunning. And again, I just don't think that my camera flash does this justice, but it is so beautifully unreal sparkly. I feel like this kind of polish would be so fun to wear while trick-or-treating because you're just so reflective. And then last but not least, we have the shade Foxglove, which is another purpley vibe, this time a much warmer, almost rosy, dusky purple kind of color. We've got the silver flash reactive pigment running throughout, and then we also have a fuchsia iridescent shimmer running throughout. So at certain angles, it does look a little bit more like a warm reddish kind of tone, and then at other angles, you can see a little bit more of a violet color. So it's a really beautiful, shifty kind of shade that it's kind of confusing because you can't tell if it's a really cool toned or warm toned shimmer, but that's kind of what I love about it. And again, just really intensely sparkly. This one especially did not do justice on my camera flash, but in real life, it looks so gorgeous, and I wish that you could see it through my eyes because it is so beautiful. So here are all the polishes together. The top 2 rows are the Destiny collection, and then the bottom row is the Apothescary collection. So the Destiny collection being those shimmer graphics with the holographic pigment running throughout, and then the bottom row is the flash reactive polishes. And I will say, looking at this chart, I feel like the colors do look kind of similar, but I think that's just because they are so dimensional and there's so much going on in each color that it almost requires the movement of your hands to be able to see all the colors within them. Because honestly, while I was swatching these, I didn't think they were alike at all. So it's really just this one tiny little screenshot that I think makes them look kind of similar. But overall, I love these. I think that the color combinations are really unique and fun. I love that they kind of took these themes of fall and Halloween and tarot and witchy vibes and just made colors that were shades you could really rock any time of year, but still feel in that sort of autumnal vibe. So I think they did a really incredible job with that. And then of course, all the formulas were incredible, as is expected with Cirque. So yeah, let's talk about these a little bit more. So those are the 2 new collections, and honestly, I love them. The shimmergraphic formula is just absolutely iconic. And of course, their flash reactives are just so cool. But what I especially love about both collections is the color combinations. I just feel like the way that they they paired the colors with the shimmers and the flash reactive glitters are super unique. And I just love how dark the colors are while still somehow being very colorful. I feel like these are all definitely giving me very fall, almost Halloween-y sort of vibes. And this is the time of year when I thrive. So I'm very excited about these. But yeah, now let's get into pricing and availability. All these polishes come in the usual Cirque 11 milliliter bottles. They do feature a wide flat brush that has a rounded tip, so application super easy. And all of the polishes retail for $15.50 USD each. And of course, I do have an affiliate discount code, so you can use the code KELLI to get 10% off your order there. So yeah, I'm gonna link everything down in the description. You can check them out if you're interested, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think of these two collections? Are you planning on picking any of them up, or have you already? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. And if you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. I feel like I've done a variation of this question before, but it's like Halloween vibe season and I cannot resist. So my question is, would you rather be the only one without a costume or the only one in a costume? Presumably in a public setting. And I feel like the easy answer to this would be being the only one without a costume, because then you don't necessarily stand out. But I will say there's something about being the only person not in a costume that makes me feel very embarrassed, like I thought I was too cool for it or something, and I really hate that feeling. So to be totally honest, I might rather be the only person in a costume. Now, I wouldn't choose something like really intense, like maybe I could be like a vampire or something that's like could pass for normal clothes, kind of. Like I wouldn't want to wear like a giant inflatable costume, but I think I would rather be dressed up than be not dressed up, just because especially if I was like meeting people, I wouldn't want my personality to reflect that I thought that I was too good for dressing up. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe it would also depend on my mood, because I am very much an introvert and I don't like attention on me, which is probably weird to hear considering I'm filming this video right now. But also keep in mind, I'm alone in a room right now. It feels much easier when I'm just by myself. But yeah, like being introverted, I don't know that I would want people to like notice me standing out in a crowd, but I don't know. There's like something kind of mean about being the only person who doesn't dress up. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. I'm a little conflicted. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.